Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is October the 12th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. The day's been going well so far. I will say, today was like finally the day I really had to enact like a rest day on myself. I woke up and I just was really having like some trouble walking a bit. My foot was really hurting me. So tried to take it slow. Just did my laundry, and that was really about it. So like we really been chilling post that. I will say though, I did go to the gym. So like I kind of figured like, hey, we can have an active rest day. I just have to not be on my feet as much. So I did like 30 minutes on the bike and then the rest was just weight stuff. So it was nice. It was actually pretty good. I was surprised that I was actually getting a bit of a sweat out of everything. So that was good. It felt good. But yeah, now we're here. We're chilling, talking, blogging a little bit. Let's see, food corner. We made Korean fried chicken with white rice. This was the garlic version. Not as much of my favorite, but still pretty good. And you can make it spicy, so it works out. Oh, excuse me. It just is such like a strong garlic flavor, so it's a bit overpowering, but still pretty good. Had some egg rolls as well. So yeah, everything came together on that. So yeah, we've done enough of the blog stuff. Really don't have too much to say today. We can go ahead and do our startup, and we'll get into some news. All right, our first story comes from the Independent. Also, a bit of just some extra news I kind of pulled from the BBC as well. But daughter murdered parents in cold blood and lived with bodies for years after hiding them in makeshift tombs. This shit is heavy. Oof, this is true crime. True crime right now. Um, an intelligent manipulator murdered her parents in cold blood, then hid them in makeshift tombs and lived alongside their bodies for 4 years. Virginia McCullough, 36, poisoned her father, John McCullough, age 70, with prescription medication and fatally stabbed her 71-year-old mother, Lois McCullough, shortly after. She then lied about their whereabouts and spent their money. I believe I pulled the number from the BBC, but it was like around £149,000. Uh, and she I think racked around 60 something, once again in pounds in terms of debt, 60,000 or something like that. So I mean, she was just essentially living off of her parents. Like this was the ultimate bum situation, and like this is no shade to anyone who has to potentially either go back to your parents, live under your parents. That's not what I'm fucking saying here when I'm talking about a bum. I'm talking about a bum where it's like you are only here and you're only accumulating debt. You're living here rent free. You're not chipping up anything to your parents who have let you into, kept you, let you back into your house, whatever the situation is here. And then you're saying, hey, to cover, because essentially she was siphoning money on top of this, and then like telling them like, oh, there's just like the scam that's happening to you, mom and dad. Like that's what's happening, blah, blah, blah. But essentially it's just, she's the scammer. She's scamming her own parents. And essentially the roosters are coming to roost. And she's like, I'm just gonna kill my parents and then spend their money. And that was her plan. And she packed them, I believe, in like dry ice, something to that effect. And that's how she was keeping them kept. And she was, making excuses to the general practitioners, like doctors or whatever, anyone who was checking on her. I believe the parents had rented a TV, and she was like making excuses for that, but then I think she was like trying to return it. But essentially, eventually through enough welfare checks, and then there was another interview. Once again, I'm pulling some stuff from the BBC here, where some kind of like assault allegation or something that she had launched. So they had came to the house, but some people think that she had like made this accusation to kind of see if they knew anything about her, because like if they knew, they would be like, hey, where are your parents? But I guess she's like, okay, maybe the coast is clear, everything's fine. But then eventually they did come back. I will say, like, a lot of times I don't wind up watching the videos for these little articles and stuff that I read. But this one I kind of wanted to, because, like, she just, the way they describe her is very interesting. It's almost like like a lot of the people in the community described her almost as like eccentric or strange or odd or off-putting, but like she would just kind of say things. And like at one point she had told someone like, yeah, I think they're trying to pin my parents' murder on me. And like the guy was like, yeah, that was odd, but like that's just Virginia. And it's like, that's crazy. That's crazy that you have this kind of aura and energy that people are like, yeah, she just kind of said some shit like that. She didn't laugh, and I didn't know what to really say. It was fucking Thursday, so I just kind of kept it moving. That's just her. Like it was weird. That's odd. But let me see. I wanted to read a little bit more here. Judge Mr. Justice Johnson sentenced McCullough to Chelmsford, Essex, to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 36 years in Chelmsford Crown Court on Friday, after she admitted to their murders between the 17th and 20th of June of 2019, and at an earlier hearing in the same court. Let me see here. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm just kind of just like armchairing this a bit, but I did find it interesting or strange, weird, whatever, that like for her dad, she poisoned him, but then the mom, she beat with a hammer and stabbed. So I was like, whoa, that's intense. And I feel like that's different. And I wonder if it's like a psychological reason for that, or if she thought maybe it was like for physical reasons. They're both, elderly people. But obviously, once again, I cannot stress enough, like, these are people who are like, they were taking care of their daughter, doing the best they could for her. They were being literally taken advantage of, scammed, and then taken to the ultimate level of murdered. And then stored away in their own home. Like, oh gosh, it was just like, this was one of the stories where I found myself just circling it a bit before I said, okay, let's move on to the rest of it, man. I was like, damn, I can't imagine doing your fucking parents like that. Like, especially parents that love you. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure, like, we all have our own shit. Like, maybe, your parent or parents weren't the best or what have you, but damn, take it to that level? Especially, once again, when your parents have been good to you, oof, that's rough. That is rough. Let me see here. But concerns for Mr. and Mrs. McCullough's welfare were raised in September 2023 by a GP at their registered practice, and Essex County Council's safeguarding team referred these to the police. The GP had not seen the couple for some time and said that Mr. McCullough had failed to collect medication and attend scheduled appointments. So yeah, like essentially Virginia would like call and try to like kite these, like kind of stretch them out, delay them. But eventually people are like, no, this is weird. This is strange. Like something's wrong, right? Also, a lot of times people were saying, like, if you went by the house, the curtains were always drawn. You couldn't, like, see in, which I think it's just one of those things where neighbors just, they notice that kind of shit. They notice that kind of closeted, sheltered behavior, especially when it maybe wasn't like that before. Let's see here. Once again, kind of wanted to reference this footage here. It became a murder investigation when the officers forced entry to the house on September 15th of 2023. McCullough confessed her parents' bodies were in the house and that she had killed them. In a body-worn video footage released by the police, a handcuffed McCullough told officers, "I did know that this would kind of come eventually. It's proper that I serve my punishment." So it's like, and then she also kind of says something like, oh, here, I can just read it. She added, or no, here you go. Cheer up. At least you've caught the bad guy. And like, no one really like chuckles or reacts to that. It's like, yeah, dude, we're not really trying to like judge you or anything. We're just trying to do our job. But she adds, I know I don't seem 100% evil. It's like, once again, we're not here to judge your character, lady. We're here because of potential, murder. A murder. So, yeah, it was just weird how she's using this, like, kind of talk as an icebreaker. Because I was like, I just want to know how she talks. I want to hear how she talks. And it was off-putting. It was unsettling. Like, I couldn't imagine her in a market just, like, trying to make small talk with you. I would, But, yeah, I don't know. I'm also surprised too because I had not heard of this story. If I did hear about it, it went over my head. So yeah, I was kind of like, okay, let me kind of do a little bit of recap, talk about this because this was pretty fucked up. Passing sentence, the judge told the defendant she was almost 60,000 pounds in debt before the killings, and that she spanned and maintained an elaborate, extensive, and enduring web of deceit over months and years. Because that is crazy. It's crazy that she not only murdered her parents, hid the parents in the home, but proceeded to like try to live a life. Oh. This is where I want to also reference the BBC shit a bit, where she, in this phase of time, between 2019 and 2024. And hey, I also want to add too, maybe COVID kind of helps allow her to like elongate this amount of time and also maybe adds to the mental duress and the changes because she at some point tries to fake a pregnancy and walk about town with like a fake padded belly and shit. It's like, my dear, this is not the time to draw attention to yourself. But yet, you kind of hear how she's talking. Maybe that's kind of what you wanted. Once again, guy in armchair, knows nothing, no degrees. But it makes you wonder, makes you think, huh? Once again, true crime, back on the menu. True crime when? True crime now. All right, let's move along. Speaking of crime, speaking of criminals, we got another guy I wanted to talk about. This is like maybe the last big wig from FTX that we're probably going to cover, right? We did Caroline Edison recently. We got, Sam Bankman-Fried, or Freed, my bad. Oops. It's all the same now, his name. He's just synonymous with crime. But yes, from Newsweek. Who is Ryan Salami? I want to call him Salami. It's probably Salami. Salami. We're going to say Salami. I'm sure I've heard his name before. Once again, in one ear, out the other. But who is Ryan Salami? Disgraced FTX exec who reported to prison on LinkedIn. This is a very like cheeky, coy thing. Honestly, tomato town for this man. But Ryan Salami, I'm just going to keep playing with it till I find one I like. Once a high-ranking executive at bankrupt cryptocurrency company FTX took to LinkedIn this week to share that he is starting a new position as an inmate in federal prison. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Like, motherfucker, just go to jail. Just serve your fucking time. Salami, who was a co-CEO of FTX Digital Markets, an FTX subsidiary based in the Bahamas. I don't know why I said this in such a weird, stilted way. Anyway, FTX operated a crypto exchange and hedge fund before it collapsed in 2022 over a massive fraud scheme perpetrated by its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried. SBF, as he is known, is currently serving his own prison sentence after he was convicted of looting the company he founded. I love when they fuck up, like this is Newsweek, probably because they have just like an AI just run the fucking article and they don't fucking make a correction unless someone like blows down on it. So, hey, I appreciate that because I'm a guy who makes mistakes all the time. I can't even say this guy's name. But yeah, Salami allegedly received $55 million in loans from the company he was accused of using money from FTX to donate to political campaigns. So if my memory serves me correctly, I think the Salami, the straw donation or donation thing, I might be using that term wrong here, even though I explained it to you in a previous episode. The way he was doing the political donations, I think he was doing it to like both sides of the party too. Like Sam was telling him like, "Hey, you do this, you give this money to this group, that group," and he would do it. And it's like, okay, yeah, we got you for that shit, dog. And that to me was the first I remember kind of hearing like, oh, I think there's something going on at this FTX, place. I don't know if I covered it in like that order or not, but I think that might have been like around the time I heard it. And then you kind of hear about the link between Carol and Edison at the name is escaping me, at the company that she was running, but that was connected to FTX. And essentially it's like, oh yeah, we're just going to use this money and kind of gamble people's money that's supposed to be used on this fucking exchange. So now it seems that all of the little birdies are, in their cages. So that's cool. That's interesting. They talked further about his wife, Salame's wife. Apparently she took some money for like consulting, like a good chunk of money. So she might be facing some time, but that's a trial in the future. Who knows if I even hear about it or even wind up covering it. Probably not. I think this is like a good place to close it at this guy's LinkedIn, his little cheeky little thing. But yeah, I mean, they're all going to serve their time. White collar crime. It is what it is. Yeah, whatever. Let's go ahead and move along. We're actually going to talk about some good news from here, or at least good and interesting news, I'd say, for the rest of the episode. From the Hollywood Reporter, Chippendales dancers look to unionize with Actors Equity. All right, let's scroll down. The Chippendales dancers are seeking to unionize with Actors Equity Association, which has been expanding the union's representation of 51,000 professional actors and stage managers on Broadway and in live theater. The dancers are part of the all-male revue known for their stripteases based out of the Rio Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. They also regularly tour and perform domestically and internationally. The dancers chose to unionize in an effort to gain higher wages and benefits. We love Chippendales and value being a part of this incredible institution, said the dancers leading this unionization effort. But we also believe our situation here isn't keeping with the industry standards. In order to continue providing the world-class entertainment that has always been the Chippendales calling card, we need to have a world-class workplace. And that means fair pay, decent benefits, safety, and accountability. I fucking love to hear it. I love 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 it. I think every time I've talked about Chippendales, I feel like this definitely isn't the first time. I implore people to like find a documentary or like look into like a Hulu. I think Hulu has like some kind of like drama series, documentary style thing. It is a very interesting story of Chippendales, like the origin, the true crime, the drama. There's just so much going on. It plays out like almost like a Godfather like novella. I don't know. I love the story of Chippendales. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Obviously it's crazy to see a bunch of dudes gyrating around, at least for me, but hey, it makes people very happy. And I love that. I love that part, obviously. But I'm super happy to hear that Chippendales is, trying to make a move to unionize. Hopefully it is successful. Hopefully they don't like run into any obstacles, but I definitely want to keep you guys covered, abreast of that information. But yeah, there's more yada here, more details. They talk about the Actors Equity Union and, more of that. But we'll leave it, that's for the real newsies who want the real news. They want to get more details. But yeah, I will try to keep you posted on any updates that come out of this union move, this union push. All right. We have one more story that I wanted to cover. This was definitely something I just kind of found funny and interesting, and it's definitely an update on the fate of Redbox. We did do a little bit of coverage on them and their bankruptcy. It's definitely it's a belly up situation, and we got to talk about the cleanup, I guess you could say, and maybe someone's cleanup is another one's gain. You know what I mean? Someone's trash is another one's treasure. But let's go ahead and do our last break, and we'll get into it. Oh yeah. Okay, that hit the spot. All right. From Engadget. Do you want? Sorry. Whew. There it is. Do you want a giant Redbox machine? Now's your chance. I've never in my life had that thought, but there is someone with a Redbox machine in their garage, as seen in the thumbnail. And so, obviously, I had to talk about it. Redbox is as dead as disco, but that doesn't mean it can't sorta live on in your living room. Redbox's parent company folded with hundreds of millions of dollars in unpaid debts. It also left over 24,000 of its iconic red machines at various retail locations, as reported by the Wall Street Journal and spotted by Gizmodo. The machines are heavy, cumbersome, and difficult to dispose of, with a former Redbox executive suggesting it costs $500 to remove one of the kiosks. This was compounded by the fact that some of the machines are actually embedded in concrete. I wonder why they did that. Like, I guess because you're worried about someone trying to steal it. I'd have to imagine. The retailers plan on salvaging them for scrap at a loss, which has led collectors to take the initiative to scoop some before they hit the scrap heap, which I wouldn't think is an option that you could do, but, hey, people are making it happen. I also would imagine, too, that maybe some versions might be more coveted or more like, oh, this fits and is more kitschy, like, and will be less tacky and less dated. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I couldn't see a Redbox kiosk and go, man, I always wanted to have one of those, especially now that Redbox isn't a thing. And like, I wouldn't say I was an ardent or like I didn't use Redbox a ton, but I did use it sometimes. I liked it. I definitely prefer doing that a lot of times than like going to the fucking movie theater. But let's see. Let's talk about Jacob Hilton, a 19-year-old from North Carolina. Picked up one from a drugstore because he felt like Redbox is important in the history of American media. He went on to make the point that its collapse marks the end of the video rental era. Now he has a giant DVD renting machine in his garage. Now, I don't, like, once again, I don't know if you can, like, add more DVDs to it or what have you, but it definitely looks cool. Like, I imagine it's kind of like once again, it's almost like a Coke machine, but for the millennial or Zoomer. I don't know. But let's read a little further. Now, before you roll up to a local Walgreens and ask about the dilapidated Redbox machine sitting outside, there are some caveats. First of all, these things are heavy and extremely difficult to transport. As mentioned above, some are even dipped in concrete. That's right. They go into the just the monthly cost of it in terms of energy use. Also, these machines suck up massive amounts of energy during use. Walgreens told a judge that it cost the company $184,000 each month to power 5,400 kiosks. That breaks down to around $35 per month for a single machine. So that's just going to be on top of your energy bill just to keep it running and operational. Now, maybe you just keep it on for, like, the nostalgia. You boot it up for your friends while you're drinking a beer. Like, oh, isn't this cool? Oh, let's watch a DVD. What do you want to watch? What would you watch? What do you even pick? Like, Olympus Has Fallen. No, I don't even. That wouldn't be on the thing. Like, once again, like, could you program it? Like, I'm very curious about that. Maybe I can find a YouTube or something and someone can break down. Like, hey, I got the Redbox kiosk. Here's how it works at home. Let's see here. Is there anything else I wanted to pull from other than you have to pay? Let's see. However, if you do have a large DVD collection, each machine can hold around 500 of them. Okay, so I imagine there is a bit of programming we can do here. Maybe there's some kind of internet software that you can work with and update it until maybe you can't update the software. Maybe you can come up with your own software. I don't know. Maybe that sounds interesting. Maybe there's some modifications that we could do, and there's something really, really cute that can come out of this. That would be dope. Or maybe you can just hold on to this quote unquote piece of American history and flip it for a lot of money one day. I don't fucking know. There's always a yokel out there with some money to burn. But yeah, I thought this was cool. I thought it was an interesting update to the fate of Redbox. People are just trying to scoop them up now. You know, if you can tow them away or take them away, I don't know. But yeah, that'll be it. That's the episode for today. I feel like we bumbled through it. Let's see here. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, become a newsie today. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Let's see. Free way to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Hopefully subscribe to the YouTube. Really helps out there. Leave a like, leave a comment. Hopefully you can do that on the Spotify or whatever other listening platform you're on. Sharing is caring. But yeah, that's it. That's the episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.